This is one of the most used tech devices that I own, and it is the UltraHuman Ring Air. About a year ago, I went on a journey to try and find the best sleep tracking device that I possibly could. I tried Apple Watches, I tried Fitbits, and then I landed on the UltraHuman Ring. Actually, to be fair, UltraHuman sent me this ring about 6 months ago, and I've been wearing it for the last 6 months, and I've really enjoyed it. Now, this is not a sponsor review of any kind. They sent me this ring like 6 to 7 months ago, possibly expecting me to do a video, and I just never did because I just was wearing it and enjoying it, and then I wanted to give you guys my full thoughts after a couple months of actually using this every single day. So these are my honest thoughts on the UltraHuman Ring Air and whether this device is worth the $350 price tag. So smart ring technology has become very popular over the last couple of years. We had the Oura Ring, UltraHuman came out with this device about a year ago, and now we've got the Samsung Ring. I know there are other players out there right now, but these are sort of the three major brands that have really dove into ring technology. And honestly, it was a happy accident that UltraHuman sent me this ring, because if it wasn't for that, I probably would have ended up buying an Oura Ring because that's the ring that I was looking at originally. But I'm so glad that I got the UltraHuman Ring first, because this ring I think is the best option for most people. And I'll be very upfront as to why I think this ring is the best option out there. This ring doesn't have a subscription. The Oura Ring does, and the Samsung Ring requires you to have a Samsung device. So not only does this ring work with both Apple and Android devices, but it also doesn't require you to spend any more money after you buy it. You buy it, and you're done. And while sure, maybe the Oura Ring app has a couple extra features that this app doesn't have, honestly, the UltraHuman app is very comprehensive, and they keep adding new features consistently. But okay, with that being said, let's actually dive into the review of the UltraHuman Ring Air. So this device comes in at a retail price of $350. There are many different sizes. I believe at the time that I got this ring, there was 5 through 14. And I've got to say, one of the best parts about this ring is that it's incredibly light, even though it's packed with technology. I believe the weights vary between 3.4 ounces and 3.6 ounces, depending on the size. But one thing I really loved about the UltraHuman Air is that when you order this ring, they actually send you a sizing kit with a bunch of different ring sizes that you can try on. They're all 3D printed, which is super cool. I'm a big 3D printing fan. And through that process, you're able to find the perfect fit for your finger with a dummy ring that's exactly the same size as the actual UltraHuman ring. And both my wife and I did this. UltraHuman was nice enough to send us both rings, and we've both been wearing them a lot. And sizing has been amazing. I wear it on my pointer finger. It fits great. It never feels too tight or too loose. It's a perfect fit, and I can slide it off very easily whenever I need to charge it or anything like that. So it's a great fit, and it never falls off, even when I'm exercising. Now, once you pick your size, you can pick different colors. There's a bunch of different color options. I went with the matte black option, which I feel like looks the best in general. There is also a titanium option, which would have matched my wedding ring, but I really kind of prefer the black look, especially because it's such a large band. It looks more like a piece of tech than a ring, and I think the black just kind of leans into that versus going with a silver, which would look a little odd with such a thick ring. But hey, to each their own. They all look great. My wife has a silver one. She loves it. I have no problems with any of the other colors. I just like the matte black personally for the reasons that I just said. But inside the box, you get the ring itself. You get a 1 meter USB-C to USB-C charging cable, and then of course you've got the ring wireless charging dock. Now, while charging this ring is incredibly easy, you just drop it on the dock whenever you're showering or don't want to wear it. I will say that there's this incredibly annoying LED indicator light that if you keep this charger in your bedroom, which I think most people will, it will light up everything because it's so bright. And because of that, I don't really charge my ring at night. Literally what I do is I keep the charger unplugged, and then whenever I want to charge my ring, I plug it in, set the ring on top of it, usually during the day when I'm showering or doing something that doesn't require me to wear a ring. But honestly, kind of a small gripe. I'm sure you can put some tape over it and you'll be good to go. But even with that, this ring is absolutely worth it and provides a lot of value. First of all, you get the sleep tracking, which is the main reason I got this ring. In addition to that, the ring comes with an accelerometer to track motion. It tracks your heart rate. It also tracks your temperature, which is pretty cool. And I'm sure there are more sensors inside this ring than just that, but those couple sensors combined together provide a lot of really interesting data. Well, I guess sleep tracking isn't really a sensor, it's just a feature that I really like, but it wouldn't be possible without some of those sensors. But in my opinion, one of the best parts about this ring is actually the companion app and the data that it gives you. In addition to showing you all of the sleep data that you could ever want, it tells you your body temperature throughout the day, it tells you your heart rate throughout the day, it even recommends the best time to start drinking coffee and to stop drinking coffee. And essentially what you're buying into with the UltraHuman Ring Air is not just a ring, but also a system. It not only tracks all that information, but it relays it to you in a really simple and easy to understand way, and I really appreciate that. It's helped me in a lot of ways. Like I mentioned, the thing that I use this ring the most for is sleep tracking, and this provides a lot of really useful information when it comes to sleep tracking. Right on the main page of the app, you're given a sleep score for that particular day. It tells you how long you slept and what your resting heart rate was. But if you click on that little box, it actually goes deeper and it gives you a lot more data to allow you to really figure out what's going on while you're sleeping. So like I mentioned, it tells you the total time that you were asleep. In this case, on June 24th, I was sleeping for 6 hours and 44 minutes, and I had 7 hours and 59 minutes in bed. Now, I'll be honest, one of the main reasons that I really was excited about this sleep tracking is because when I first got this, my wife was pregnant, and now that we have a baby, It's interesting to see the differences in my sleep patterns from when I didn't have a child to now when I have a child and I get up 3 to 4 times a night. But this is kind of my new normal, and honestly, it's been pretty good over the last couple weeks. So like I said, 7 hours and 59 minutes in bed. According to the app, I got 50% restorative sleep, which apparently is optimal, and then my heart rate drop needs attention because it didn't drop till 5:55 a.m., which I'm not totally surprised by. The contributors are sleep efficiency, temperature, restfulness, consistency, total sleep, HR drop, timing, restoration time, and then of course it gives you this really, really great graph that shows you the exact times that you were asleep. White is when you're awake, which is obviously when I was up taking care of the baby. Pink is the REM sleep. Purple is the light sleep, and then dark purple is deep sleep. So you can actually scroll through it and see all the different times of night, see how long you were doing different things. Like for example, I was up from 5:01 to 5:40 for 39 minutes, probably taking care of the baby. It's now July. At the time of filming this video, I just thought this day would be a good day to show you guys sort of some sleep things. It also shows you different movements and times that you tossed and turned throughout the night, which is pretty cool. It says I tossed and turned 11 times that night. And then it also gives you some information on how you might be feeling after whatever sleep it is that you've had. In this case, it says that I probably would experience prolonged grogginess because I didn't sleep that well. Apparently, I had average oxygen saturation of 99%, and my heart rate dropped down to 49 beats per minute at 5:55. Now, there are some high heart rate areas, probably when I'm trying to put the baby to sleep, I'm not going to lie to you. You've got heart rate variability, and then my average temperature throughout the night was 95.18 Fahrenheit. It's very possible at 4 a.m. I was washing my hands or something, that's why it dropped down to 88 degrees. Who knows? It's been about a month since then. But with that being said, the sleep data is incredible, and I've been tracking it for the last 6 months. I have so much sleep data, and obviously a couple nights that were not the best. But it is what it is. Now, I've never owned the Oura Ring, but I can tell you from personal experience that of every other sleep tracking device that I've had, this gives me the most in-depth data as far as sleep goes. Not only that, this device is so small and so minimal, it's so easy to sleep with. I've slept in an Apple Watch. It sucks. My arm gets sweaty, it's big, it's bulky, it gets caught on my pillow. This, it's like sleeping in my wedding ring. It's great. I mean, seriously, the biggest reason I love smart rings is because of how unobtrusive they are. Not only that, I love the fact that it doesn't have a screen. It doesn't buzz me all the time like a Apple Watch or even my phone does. It's very simple, very wearable, and you forget you're even wearing it. But let's dive into some of the other data. You've also got a movement score, which I got an 88 for this day. I got 7,176 steps out of the... Apparently, I'm supposed to get 11,000 steps per day, which is pretty high. My active hours were 7 hours out of 16. Total calories burned, 2,441. And workout frequency, 15 minutes. Which is interesting because I do actually wear this ring to work out. I don't know if I exercised on this day. However, I do usually exercise Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Well, this isn't a workout day, but this day I went to New York and walked around with my friend. I had 13,000 steps. So let's dig into this a little bit deeper. We had an activity, 45 minutes only? That's crazy. I know I was more active than that. It says 14 hours out of 16 I was active. Total calories burned 3,373 and workout frequency 45 minutes. Interesting. Sleep that night wasn't bad. I got an 81. Not terrible. Stress rhythm. This is a really cool feature that shows you when you're stressed, stimulated, relaxed, and active. And I think it's a really cool feature. I don't really know how to use it. I've dug into it a couple times. It gives you some interesting data on when you're stressed, when you're stimulated, all sort of good stuff, which I guess can be really interesting if you want to go back over the last couple months and try and figure out what was really stressing you out. I'm just consistently stressed, I think is the takeaway from this, which is something I'm working on. So I don't know, it's probably not important data for me. You've got a dynamic recovery score, you've got your heart rate. Apparently, even with walking around New York all day, I was sitting at 63 beats per minute average. So like I said, I have worn this ring working out. I don't wear it all the time working out, but I was for the purposes of this video. And what I found is that even though they recommend not wearing it when you're lifting or anything like that because it can get scratched, even when it does get scratched, it actually wipes off. It's kind of wild. Like I've lifted with this multiple times and the metal bar scratches it initially, but I rub it a couple times and the scratch goes away, which is kind of crazy. It was incredibly durable, way more than I expected. Now there are definitely scratches on here from just day-to-day wear, way less than I would have expected after wearing this for like 7 months. Now I will say that that might only be for this matte black finish. It's probably different for the silver. I'm sure the silver gets scratched up like crazy, but for me, this matte black finish has been great. I mean, barely any scratches on it whatsoever. Still looks almost brand new. But getting back into exercise tracking, that's one area that it's somewhat lacking in. It's not as in-depth as something like an Apple Watch. I think this definitely shines mostly in sleep tracking and also heart rate tracking and things like that. Now, one thing I really love about the UltraHuman app is that they update it constantly and they're always adding new features, which I'll be honest, I don't really use, but it's nice to know that they're consistently working on it. And apparently this ring has only been out for about a year. So I got this 6 months into the lifespan of the ring and they've been consistently updating the Ring and the app, so good on them. Plus, they're dropping new products like an in-home tracker, which is interesting. I haven't tried that, but I've got to give UltraHuman credit because they really are staying up to date with keeping this Ring up to date. But now let's talk about a few quality of life things. First of all, the battery life. The battery life on this Ring is surprisingly good, I'm assuming because it's a pretty low power device. 4 to 5 days, possibly 6 if I'm not doing as much, is what you would get if you're wearing the Ring nonstop. But the rhythm that I've gotten in when it comes to charging this Ring is not like one big charge every 5 to 6 days. It's every day for like 20 minutes while I'm showering. That's it. That's the way that I charge it, and it stays pretty consistently at like 80%. So honestly, no complaints when it comes to battery life. Really, genuinely pretty good. One small gripe that I've had with this Ring, which might just be the case for just rings in general, is that I do find myself sometimes getting sweaty underneath where the Ring is because it's significantly larger than my wedding ring in terms of width, so there's more surface area to get sweaty. I'm sure I get sweaty underneath my wedding ring too, but it's pretty thin, so I don't really notice it. But I do find after a long night's sleep, I will like to kind of slide the Ring off for a couple minutes, let my finger breathe a little bit. That's one small problem that I've had with it, but it's not a huge issue. But overall, the UltraHuman Ring Air is pretty awesome. It does a great job of what it's supposed to do. It does a great job of sleep tracking, motion tracking, heart rate tracking, body temperature tracking, a lot of really cool things, and the companion app is great. I really like it a lot. Now, a friend of mine does have the Oura Ring, and we have compared apps, and there are certain features that the Oura Ring has on the app that the UltraHuman app doesn't have. That being said, there's a lot that this app has, probably even more than the Oura Ring in certain categories. Again, I haven't compared them side by side in a long time, so I don't know for sure, but I will say it's got more than enough information, and for an app that you don't have to pay a monthly subscription for, amazing. So overall, I've been incredibly happy with the UltraHuman Ring. It does everything that I want it to do, even more. And the price of $350, while it's high for a small piece of tech, it's kind of worth it. That is, of course, if you're looking for a smart ring that does things like sleep tracking and heart rate tracking and things like that. If you don't care about those things, you're probably not in the market for a smart ring. You're probably not even watching this video. But if you are, I highly recommend this one, and in my opinion, it's absolutely worth it. But with that being said, make sure to let me know your thoughts on the UltraHuman Ring Air in the comment section down below. Let me know if you like this ring, or you prefer the Oura Ring, or maybe even the Samsung Ring, or possibly the Apple Ring if that ever comes out. So of course, let me know those comments down below. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.